Welcome to the Opinionated Benchwarmers Podcast, episode 199. Your opinionated benchwarmers are back to do what we do best, and that's discuss sports. Again, we got my brothers in here, man. How y'all fellas feeling today?
Man, ready to roll, ready to rock, man. As always, brothers, let's do it.
Yeah, same, man. I'm not gonna hold it too long either. We're here for another episode. Excited for the content that we got ready for our listeners. So I'm ready to roll with it.
Shout out to all the love we got on the previous episode. Go ahead and check that out. The Big Decision. You can catch that on all the podcast platforms. Make sure that you are subscribed to the podcast on wherever you like to listen to your podcast at. And then check us out on YouTube. That's where you can get the visuals at. Man, fellas, man, I'm ready to jump into it, man. Another weekend of NFL past us. Of course, we got Thanksgiving among us. So happy Thanksgiving from the OB family to your family. Hoping that you enjoy some turkey and some good food. But fellas, in lieu of the holiday, I just wanted to jump into this segment and I wanted to ask you guys, what are you thankful for? Sports edition. So what are you thankful for? Sports edition. It could be anything from football, college, NFL. It could be NBA, whatever. What are you thankful for?
I would just say I'm thankful for good leadership and good the Los Angeles Rams. I don't take it for granted. You know what I mean? Because you can be. I've been seen the dark years of the Rams. I've seen the Jeff Fisher days. I've seen the Spagnola days where we were struggling, and then I'm just very appreciative of good leadership and good organization. So I'm thankful for that. I'll say that. Sports edition, right?
That's
Yeah,
a good one, man. That's a
that's a
good
good
one.
one. Supposed to just, I guess I'll go ahead and chime in. I'm gonna say I'm thankful for Nico Harrison. We continue to see the the benefits and the fruit of his labor night after night with the Lake Show with Luca. So once again, thank you, Nico. Definitely grateful for you, brother.
Man, look, I'm thankful for Rob Pelinka and the moves that he's been making. It's time that this man get his flowers. He's turned the Lakers around and into perennial contenders. This is the first year where I feel very confident about this roster, and we continue to get better night in, night out. And that's credit to him. And I'm thankful for JJ Redick as well. So I guess that's a package deal, you know.
Yeah.
And JJ Redick is finally putting his imprint on his team and the culture that he's implemented is obvious. We're off to a 12-4 start on the year. I mean, I don't think, man, I don't know. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. I think this is the best start in the last 5 years. Maybe. Don't quote me, but it just feels as though it is. I don't have any notes in front of me,
Yeah.
but this is a great start.
Yeah, the best start since the year one with AD and LeBron
Okay.
together. This is the
Yeah, I
best
knew it was
start
a
since
while.
then.
Yeah, yeah. I wasn't far off. Thank you there. But yeah, I'm thankful for that. Other than that, thankful for family, and I'm looking forward to digging in, pigging out. I thought that would be a fun segment. But as we jump into it, we got football to discuss, gentlemen. The biggest game, I think, the most important game that we'll highlight here is the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, look, man. Say what you want about them, the Eagles being up 21-0, and the ultimately we know how the story went. The Cowboys came back and won this. The Cowboys are trending. I don't know what to make of it, but they're trending. I mean, are you guys buying the hype here?
I don't know. I think I like what they did at the trade deadline. They obviously brought in some solid pieces, especially Quentin Williams up middle, So I like what they did. And on the offensive side, they've never had an issue on the offensive side. I think they can compete with any offense in the NFL. So I think at the end of the day, they're playing well. But I think they're going to end up being the Cowboys. They're going to end up messing this up somehow, some way, and end up fumbling this. This is just we've seen it year after year. History repeats itself. They start playing well. They either make it to the playoffs or just miss it off some bonehead play. The Cowboys are going to be the Cowboys at the end of the day. That's my prediction on them.
Yeah, no, to your point, like you said, the main thing is in the Cowboys or whether they're going to be for real or not is really just the consistency of the defense. We know what that offense represents, especially in having what some people are starting to argue is the top receiving duo in the league, but that's up for debate. You got several other top end duos that are out there. And then also too, in Javonte Williams kind of having a resurgent year. I think that people kind of left him for dead even as he was coming over to Dallas, and didn't really figure that he would be one of the guys that would be towards the top end of running backs in the league in this year. And so I think that ultimately, as y'all have said, it really comes down to what that defense does because I think that offensively, they have enough to pretty much battle out with anybody that's out there.
And Javante Williams is only 25 years old, so they might have got to steal at running back there. But if you go to the game against the Philadelphia Eagles, I mean, you look at A.J. Brown finish the game with 8 catches and 110 yards. Clearly, they made him a focal point of their game plan. As A.J. Brown, needless to say, if you haven't been living under rock, has had a lot of complaints about how he's been utilized in this offense. They made a point to utilize him, but yet they still lose. And the thing I want to talk about is how the Eagles, what is wrong with them? I mean, I've never seen an 8-3 team where you're just really looking at them like, what is the deal? Like, I've never seen a team that is constantly winning games but still has that drama. But you kind of think that this has come to a head with this, as far as this loss, because you scored 21 points in the first half and you don't score again. The Dallas Cowboys shut them out in the second half. And we know that Dallas defense is not that great.
Yeah, no, I think you said it, man. It's a chemistry thing, right? You can have the greatest team and we win in games and it still feel like you're losing. That speaks to a team chemistry and how important that is with being successful. The people, the players in the locker room, you put them in the right environment. You put them in an environment of winning and players having fun. And I know you guys hate to say it, but I think the Rams have let go. I know y'all gonna give me crap. I always bringing up the Rams, but the Rams have been a great organization, right? Because they fit people into their system, right? They fit players into their system. That's why all players say they come to us, they have fun, their career turns around. We'll talk about Forbes, we'll talk about Devontae Adams recently coming out and said this is the most fun I've ever had playing football. You talk about Baker Mayfield, who's now with the Buccaneers. Players that come in the system, Jalen Ramsey, who was saying like, hey, these were my best years. They come in the system and they turn things around because you have to have it from the ground up, from the foundation. I don't think the Eagles have that. And they really and truly should have let AJ Brown go. This offense can thrive. Obviously, we've seen it without him. They can win games without him where he's done little to nothing in this offense and they still won games. And so it's really a chemistry thing. If he's not happy there, don't force him to stay there. They should have got rid of him at the trade deadline and moved on.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. You got to make sure that you have the kind of the right ingredients going on in that locker room. But I think also too, it's very difficult to maintain a standard of excellence. And I think that sometimes people overlook that. It's very difficult to be good year in and year out. It's different when you kind of on the hunter end and you kind of on that ascension and you a little hungry and you haven't had the success just yet. But once you kind of had the success, sometimes people kind of rest on their laurels a little bit. And I think that may be what you find a little bit with the Eagles as well. Some chemistry issues. And also, too, how do you have that consistent kind of that hunger, that edge, once you won it all and kind of won on the biggest stage. And so I think you seeing a combo of that. Now, I'm not here to say that it's completely going off the rails. I mean, we look at a team that they're still 8-3 at this particular point. So it's not like, hey, it's this major debacle and now they're under 500 or something like that. Like they still are performing decently well. It's just that now we have this certain standard when we think of the Eagles at this particular point. And that's to the point of like, can you maintain that standard of excellence? And we're going to see this over the course of the rest of the year. Like they're going to be challenged in many ways because now they are the ones that are being hunted at this particular point. So I think that's a big deal as well, too.
I agree. I think that defense is solid. I think that defense like that is a playoff defense. It is a championship defense. But when I look at it, when you have a Saquon Barkley, I want to start there, who's not looking as sprawl and as quick as he did last year. And he covered up a lot of mistakes. And he also allowed for Jalen Hurts not to have to throw the ball as much as he did. And the sample size is growing to my point of last week where we pointed it out. When he's required to throw the ball a lot, it doesn't produce a successful offense. And when you look at, this past week, he threw the ball 39 times. You don't want Jalen Hurts throwing the ball 39 times. And granted, he had to. But again, I mean, when you look at Saquon with a costly fumble down the stretch, we're not even gonna talk about Xavier Gibson. I mean, I'm surprised I don't know, did he get cut? I'm surprised he's still on the team if he is, with another costly fumble. They just, I think what we've been seeing and the drama that we've been seeing in the locker room, I think that no one was able to look at it because they've been winning. But I think that when you see a loss like this, you know, I think this week will be telling on how this team bounces back. And I think if they fail to bounce back, I think that you're really starting to see the symptoms of what we've been seeing, and the chemistry that Los mentioned that is not there. But if I had to guess, I mean, I think that the sample size is growing. That if you can put Jalen Hurts in a position to have to throw the ball, then and you take away the tush push option, I think you can beat this team, and they're looking very vulnerable on offense, in my opinion. But I will say this as well: Dallas deserves all the credit. They're probably one of the most talented offenses in the league, and that's due to George Pickens. Did you know that George Pickens is second in receiving in the entire league in receiving yards? That is insane.
Yeah, I mean, when you got Jackson Njigba over there just breaking records, really and truly, he's on another tier of himself. So with him being pretty much right there or up there with him is saying a lot. So yeah, George Pickens is going off, man.
Yeah, and I think you got
Nine
He's
to
going off.
catches, nine
yeah.
catches, nine targets for 183 yards.
Yeah, and I think you have to look at it as well too. When you're able to do that with a guy in CD Lamb being on the other side, I mean that just shows you how well you're playing, and that's why I say like it's a legit discussion at this point. I know that you got several premier duos out there, and for a while it was looked at as Jamar Chase and T Higgins being the premier ones, the premier duo, and then now of course I mean I will shout out to your Rams out there. I do know what Puka
Let
and
me hear
Devontae
it.
Adams
Let me hear it.
doing over there as well.
Okay.
But man, when you look at George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, like they don't take a back seat to really any duo that's out there at this point. And I would ask y'all right now, like, who do y'all think is the top receiving duo in the league? If you had to just say this is the best receiving duo, who would you say?
I don't know, man. I would say that Cowboys group is right up there. You know what I mean? Because just from a scare standpoint, just from a if you ask me today if I'm starting a team, give me those two guys. Like, you know what I'm saying? Now, if you talking experience and like, oh, who's gonna keep a cool head and I want a championship, I might say Puka and Adams. You know what I mean? Because I trust them long term. I trust them to be in an environment, not lose their cool, and you know what I mean? Because Pickens, what his history has been when he not getting the ball, being all that whole stuff. So if I'm asking me to start in the team today, it's probably gonna be Pickens and CD easily.
Yeah, I mean, I agree there. I mean, I don't think you could say anybody outside of Pickens and CD. And it's for the reasons that I mentioned. When you look at George Pickens at this point in the season, second in receiving in the entire NFL, and that's not even your wide receiver one, but he's playing like a 1A right now in comparison to CD. So I agree. I got to go Pickens and CD.
Yeah, no, I agree with y'all as well too. For a while, I think that kind of has been the Jamar Chase and T Higgins, and because of how great and elite Jamar Chase is, it's kind of really caused that to elevate to another tier. But I think that right now, what probably is the distinction is that T is kind of a tier down from when we talk about those other guys, and so I think that Pickens and the way he's elevated himself has closed that gap, really there. And I would probably say that they are the number one duo as well.
Agreed, sir. So we got Dallas 5-5-1 in the division, which is good enough for second in division. I'm gonna try to put you guys on the spot here to wrap up this segment. But do we see the Cowboys making the playoffs? I mean, they got the Chiefs here on Thanksgiving, which I'm gonna be locked in, dialed into that one for sure. Then they got the Lions, they got the Vikings, then they got the Chargers. I mean, they have a gauntlet for the next 3 or 4 games here. Well, 4 games here. Um, do you see these guys winning the playoffs? They more than likely may be able to lose one more in order to squeak into the playoffs, but they basically pretty much have to win out, I would think, to make it without having help. Do you guys see it happening?
I don't. I think they just miss it. I just look at the NFC West. You got three teams competing there. The Packers are playing well. The Lions are playing well. I think they have too much to beat out to get into that playoffs. And obviously, the Eagles still fighting for that number one seed. So it's just too many names. And they got a tough hill, as you mentioned, with how many good teams they have playing coming up here. They really don't have any room for error there. So I don't see them making it.
Yeah, I can't really see them making it either. Like you said, I mean, when you look at the NFC North and NFC West, that's already about six teams that would have be vying for spots right there. And then,
Yeah,
of course, obviously, every division winner has to be in there. So I really don't see
yeah,
the path. Like they would have to go on a crazy run to be able to
yeah.
make
I
it.
didn't even mention the
I,
Bears.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Like yeah,
I, I mean, with the Eagles, could I, if I'm playing devil's advocate here, and the Dallas fans are probably rooting me on, I'm probably gaining some fans here. But
Yeah.
if I was to say how Philadelphia looked this past Sunday, if they're trending towards falling off of a cliff and they're just gonna fall apart with the internal issues that they're having and lack of culture. I mean, you look at it. I mean, the Eagles are five. I mean, are 8-3. I mean, look, a couple losses for the Eagles, couple win. The Dallas Cowboys win out. They win the division and get into the playoffs.
I think this weekend is
I
huge
can't believe I'm
for
saying that.
Yeah.
but I think the next 2 weekends, as you mentioned, is huge, right? For the Eagles and Cowboys, and who's going to win that division. As you mentioned, the Cowboys tough schedule coming up, playing the Chiefs, right? Then the next week they come up and they play the Lions, right? And then the Eagles have the Bears, and then they play the Chargers. These next 2 weeks is going to tell you everything you need to know about that division. If one team go 2-0, the other one go 0-2.
No, I don't. Yeah, I don't think they. I think they're gonna lose Thursday. Honestly, I'm just joking around. I don't see it.
Yeah.
I think they dug too big of a hole, but they do have a foundation to in going forward. I think Dak has taken a step forward. Offensive weapons, like you said, Pickens. Go ahead and franchise tag him. See if he can do it again. Then pay him. But I think that I don't think. I think they just dug too big of a hole. But speaking of which, I mean, I look at the Rams. I have to highlight them not just because Los is on the podcast. We do cover the NFL, so we do have to talk about it. But the Rams had with a very impressive win against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They made the Tampa Bay Buccaneers look like the New York Jets, and we know that the Buccaneers are probably one of the top teams in the league. So I mean, I was pretty impressed with that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would just say too, rail ran organization. The game was over at halftime. You know what I mean? It's just that is a good feeling. And I was talking to my wife, she was saying like, this is not even a game. Like, this is not even fun. I'm like, man, this is fun. I have no stress. The game is over at halftime. I'm relaxing, And so again, I hate to see Baker go down and I don't know. I don't think Teddy's a quarterback, a starting quarterback in this league right now. I don't know what their plan is there, but he did not look like he even wanted to be in the game. He looked like he just wanted to be a guy on the sideline and just kind of like I'm mad that I
Yeah.
have to go in. It's just that was hard to watch. But again, hats off to the Rams. I'll be interested to see how they finish. It'll be nice to get that number one seed and have the playoffs go through Los Angeles. And I want to ask y'all this: Do y'all think right now, not even with the end of the season, do y'all think right now that Matthew Stafford is a Hall of Famer? Because that's been up debate online
That's
right
not a
now.
debate. Yes,
To
absolutely.
It's
me,
First ballot.
once he got the ring, that definitely solidified
Yeah,
it.
first, he didn't
yeah,
need the ring to me. He didn't need the
yeah.
ring. He's
Well,
one.
a lot of people said that he's padding his stats with the Lions, and so that's like a lot of their
No.
arguments is he
Yeah.
never
Yeah.
won anything when he was with the
Yeah.
Lions. He never really
Yeah.
won
No,
anything, and so it was an argument on the other side. He just now went over 500 in his career, as far
yeah.
as wins. So it was an argument on the other side that
Yeah.
like he just
Yeah.
padded his stats with Calvin
It's only
Johnson.
so much you could control as a quarterback. I mean, football is you have to be in the right decision. I mean, the right situation. And he was drafted into a horrible situation. You talk about a front office at the time that mirrored what you're talking about. It's just lack of leadership, and
Yeah,
they weren't a nicely ran organization when he was there. But as far as talent wise, I think the fact that he played in an era with a Drew Brees and a Peyton Manning and Tom
yeah,
Brady and these great Ben Roethlisberger. I think that he
yeah,
kind of flew under the radar in
yeah,
conjunction with the lack of success as far as the accolades of winning as much as he did. But man, talent wise, he's probably one of the top five most talented quarterbacks we
yeah.
probably
Aaron
ever seen.
Rodgers. Yep,
Yeah, he's
yep,
up there. Just from arm talent, strength. As far as accuracy, he's right up there with the greatest quarterbacks of all time. So
Yeah.
to me, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah. No,
that's
I
great.
agree.
I go
Yeah,
ahead. My
yeah.
bad.
I'm not ready to rock with the top five take of talent, but I
I said
definitely agree.
almost, almost. I meant to
Yeah.
say almost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I definitely agree with the Hall of Fame resume. And I think that one thing that we sleep on as well too is I need people to go and look at some of the top receiving seasons of all time. And look at those
Yeah,
guys that are out there in Megatron. Look at Cooper Cup. Look at what has also been done with Puka Nakua. And look at who
yeah,
was the quarterback for those guys. And I think that sometimes that goes under the radar because we think about how talented Megatron is, or we look at the Cooper Cup and the Triple Crown and all that. There's a reason why those guys were able to do that. And there's a quarterback that
yeah,
was behind that. So, yeah.
yeah.
Well, I want to follow up the positivity with the negativity. I mean, I want to follow up the negativity with the positivity, right? So, I mean, I look at the Baltimore Ravens here. We know Lamar missed a few games. They're riding a 5-game winning streak right now. They're leading their division in wins. They're first in their division right now. The Baltimore Ravens are right on track, but the conversation just for me, it just kind of points to how important Lamar is to that football team. And he hasn't really been playing. He's really still getting his feet under him. He really hasn't been having great games, but just his mere presence and his ability to make a play or two for that team, he has the Ravens in good position, I think, to be back on track by the end of this season, to be in a position to advance in the playoffs. And dare I say it, maybe they can finish this thing off finally and get him a ring.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That offense, he just hasn't looked the same to me. Lamar has not looked the same to me. Like, I don't know if it, like you said, the injuries or what. I would like to see him be better if he's truly hurt. Take some time off. Like, he hasn't, like, I haven't seen him run and be the Lamar of old, and so that kind of worries me. And, if we talking fantasy here, I'm even benching him in one of my leagues because these last 2 weeks, as far as stats wise, he just hasn't been the guy that we've seen of old. So I benching him for Drake May, who's in the running for MVP, who a guy I
Yeah.
actually ended up trading Rob for in the league. He got Neil, so who's getting the fruits of that labor here soon. So it works out for both of us. But again, I don't know. Like I like to see him become the guy that he was, that MVP uh type of guy.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that as you mentioned, I mean, of course he stabilizes things. We know the weapon that Lamar Jackson is. So obviously just from a sheer game planning standpoint, always having that threat on the field changes things. But as far as being able to have a chance of making a real run, I just think it's going to be really tough. I think we've seen in times past where they've been, higher seated and had some things even run through them from a home field standpoint, with the way that you're seeing kind of the upper echelon teams over there in the AFC at this point. I don't really think that if they were, of course, obviously able to get in, I think they're going to be on the road every single week. And so I don't really see a big time kind of magical run for them because we know in times past that's really where the scrutiny has come from. It's been the playoff performances. So I can't really see in a season where injuries have impacted and also two seeding is not going to quite be the same. I don't really see a long term run, honestly, this year.
And I think he's dealing with a toe injury as well, but I think
Yeah.
he's done enough for them to win. Don't get me wrong.
Mhm.
I think he is getting into form. And when you miss games like he's missed, you got to think that it'll be a couple weeks for him to get into rhythm. But I do think that they have the talent to make a run in the AFC. Thursday night locked in. Joe Burrow should be back from injury on Thanksgiving night. Get to wrap up the night with that matchup, which I'm excited about. But yeah, I mean, but now T. Higgins is down, so I mean, can't get right Bengals. But I do think that I think there's a realistic pathway to where they can make a run. You got Derrick Henry, who's awesome, and then Lamar if he can get into form and beat these injuries. I'm not ready to give up on them yet. They were my Super Bowl pick preseason. I'm not ready to give up on them yet, so we'll see.
I last thought on that. I just don't want us to get or the listeners get fooled by them because the last 2 weeks I'm glad Lamar is back, but beating the Jets and beating the Browns and then coming up to a bang up Bengals team, if it can be fool's gold on their couple wins and the things that they're going on. I think we won't see the real if they are a team that arrive until they play the Steelers. I think week 14 or 15. And so, because these teams that they play in, the Jets, the Browns, those are bottom five, bottom six teams in the league.
Yeah, no, I
But
would
the
say leading
divisional
up to
games,
that.
any given Sunday on the division games, though.
Yeah, and I would say leading up to that, I mean, they got the Patriots and also the Packers, I think, prior to them playing the Steelers. So to your point, they got a little bit of a tough road coming up after this, time where they kind of had a little bit of a breeze to acclimate Lamar back.
Yep. So yeah, man. So we got Thanksgiving coming up. That Thursday are the premieres, the premiere day of the NFL, even though they're trying to take over Christmas too. Hopefully the NBA don't let that happen. But that's neither here nor there. It's the NFL's day, and we have some wonderful matchups. We kind of organically touched on those matchups throughout our previous conversation. But I'll go through them real quickly. We're looking at obviously we got the nightcap with the Bengals and the Ravens. Joe Burrow makes his return that night, and then we have the sorry about that, pulling my notes. Then we got the Packers and Lions, which I'm excited about to kick off the afternoon at 1 o'clock. That should be a good matchup. Then you got the Chiefs Cowboys, like we previously discussed. Which matchup are you guys looking forward to the most, and why?
First, first of all, what a great lineup for Thanksgiving games. You know
Yeah,
what
for
I
sure.
mean?
Yeah, it
What a
is.
great
Yeah.
lineup.
It
This not
used to
it's
be
zero.
trash. It used
Yeah.
to be.
Yeah,
They used to always try to force feed us with the Cowboys, and the
right.
Lions sucked at the time, so they used
Right.
to
Yeah.
have the Lions in there.
Right. So this is a great lineup. So when I look at it, I think you have to look at that Chiefs and Cowboys games as that midday as an East Coast guy. Come on at 4:30 this time. But that Chiefs, that mid game right there, is the most one that I'm most interested
You're gonna
in
be sleep
because
though, Los, after that
I'll
first
probably
play.
be I'll probably be through my third nap by then. But I mean, I just think that game is a real toss up. I mean, they all three of them really are a toss up, but that one I'm really interested because I think it's so important for both of those teams to win. Right now, they are both on the edge of, hey, are we going to make the playoffs or are we not going to make the playoffs? And can we imagine a world where the Chiefs don't make the playoffs? Like their run and how great they've been. So they lose that game. They really are looking on the outside of not making the playoffs this year. So that's a huge game, I think, just for everything going forward with the playoff picture.
Yeah, I mean, I think you kind of stole my thunder a little bit with that answer, because I was really going to say the same thing. Honestly, I think that that has the most implications. But I think when you look at, honestly, that Lions and Packers game, that to me should be an excellent game. Two teams that, of course, vying for that division. And I think that really with the way that the Bears have been playing, this game means a lot to both of them in that division race because this game could potentially put somebody where they are, a game or two back really from where the Bears are. So I think that when we look at the implications of their specific division, I'll rock with that one. And I think you have kind of a tale of two teams because I think that with the Lions, even though it hasn't been the greatest week in and week out, we more so think of them as somewhat of that offensive team, that offensive juggernaut that they're supposed to be. And we know what that Packers defense is supposed to represent. So I think that that one, provides some intrigue as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking no further than the first afternoon game. That'll probably be a game that I'll be able to catch because I'll be eating my first plate hopefully by then. So I'll be able to catch that one. I may not make any promises about that Cowboys mid game, but I hope to be awake after my first nap to catch the nightcap. So I'll be in and out of sleep during that Cowboys and Chiefs game. But that Packers Lions game, it's a lot of reasons that you said. Who would ever thought that we would be talking about the Bears in a positive light this way? Caleb Williams is becoming who everybody hyped him up to be as a quarterback. It looks like he's starting to figure it out. He's starting to unlock more weapons. I mean, Loveland's had a great 2 weeks. Luther Burden is starting to come along. Okay, I didn't even mention Roma Dunze, right? And DJ Moore, which are their top weapons. He's unlocking all of their weapons. And we saw how Among guys playing, Mungun guy, whatever. Mungun, come on,
Yeah,
help me
Manon
out.
guy.
Marganga.
But it's not about the Bears. But I just think that this game is just so important to both teams for the reasons that Ramon mentioned. I don't want to reiterate that. But I do think that coming off of both of these teams are coming off a win. So you got the Packers on a 2-game winning streak. You got the Lions on a that won just the previous week. So these are teams that are very, very hungry to get that win for very various reasons. But if I had to pick who would win this game, I'm not gonna. I shouldn't say because me and Los are gonna pick them together, but I'll do it anyway. I think it's more so. I think
Guess
it's more.
Ramon's not in it.
Yeah, Ramon's in it too, but I be forgetting
Yeah.
about Ramon. Ramon
Yeah.
quiet and waiting on me to say. I don't think I should say, guys. I never mind. But
I
Mm.
definitely think you should.
nah, who do y'all think will win?
I got probably like the Chiefs or the Cowboys.
Nah, I mean, I think because the Lions are at home, I'll go Lions. I think you have to go. I think golf is just really good in controlled environments. Uh,
Interesting.
but the interesting part about it, if they're able to get number one loose for the Packers, and if number one is able to get after him, it could be a long day for Golf because Golf doesn't like pressure.
That's true. That is very true. When Parson over there, golf does not like anything getting in his face. So I don't know. I go back and forth because Gibbs has been special, man. That dude has been he's
Yeah.
been single handedly just winning matchups, man. I'm like,
Yeah.
man, I
Right.
survived Gibbs this week. I thank God I wasn't going against
Oh
that boy
my
last week.
gosh, that
Because my
man!
goodness.
Right.
I had the privilege of watching this gentleman a couple weeks ago live in person in Commander Stadium, and when I tell you the size of this guy, I didn't know he was that big. Like, I mean, the way that
Pause.
Whoa,
Hey,
pause.
oh
pause.
my god,
Oh my God.
That
oh my
was
god,
bad.
his height, his height, and I ain't about to even get into it because I see what y'all trying to do here. But when you look at this guy, I mean, his stature, I was like, I was really impressed because it looks like, okay, he's a little scat back, little quick guy, but no, he's a monster, and he's a dog. He doing it, man. He's one of the top backs in the league, if not the top back.
You didn't know how to finish that. You didn't know how to finish that one off, did you?
Golly, bro. Yeah, I need to grow up. But as we transition, though, I'm looking forward to Thursday, and I'm looking forward to these games. So we got our picks. So let's do our picks for those games. Who y'all got for Lions and Packers?
I I'll go Lions.
Yeah, I'll go Lions as well.
All right, then Chiefs and Cowboys. I'm going to go. Whew, I'm gonna go Chiefs. I don't like it though. I like how the Cowboys are playing, but I'm gonna go Chiefs.
I'm gonna go right there with you, with your Chiefs.
Yeah, 3 for 3 Chiefs.
All right, we're making this boring. All right, nightcap game. Nightcap game. Bengals. We got the Bengals and we got the Baltimore Ravens here. Ravens are at home. Who y'all got for that nightcap?
I'm gonna go Bengals.
Ooh,
I'm gonna go Ravens.
I'm gonna go Ravens. I mean, they on a 5 game winning streak. They on fire. So there you have it. Hopefully that you enjoy those games. That's our breakdown of that, man. Let's talk about a little bit of basketball here, man. We got obviously it's very early in the season. Not many games played so far. But real quickly, we'll just do this quickly. Which team do you feel like standings wise do you believe in as far as like who's that team that you believe like it's not a fluke at all of who they are?
I'm gonna take a lip here. I'm gonna go with the OKC Thunder. No, I'm just playing. I'm
Right.
just playing.
Nah, if you feel that
Uh,
way, if you feel that way, man,
man,
then
I
okay.
mean, that's the
First,
guarantee. Like,
that's the guarantee, man. Because OKC, it's OKC Thunder and everybody else, man. I think we gave them kudos last week, but those dudes are just special, man. When I just look at people's stats night in and night out, and I see the other opposite team play OKC and their stats is not the same against other team, and I would just they
Jay
drastically.
Jalen Williams has not made his debut this
It
season yet,
hasn't
and
even
they've
been
only
their
lost
second
one
best
game.
player.
it's
Their second
crazy.
best player
It's
hasn't played
crazy.
this year, and it's scary because now looking at the standings, I think they have 3 first round picks right now. If the season ended right now, they have a couple picks that depends on a team's record and all that stuff. 3 first round picks next year. It's scary. They have 3 chances of getting the number one pick next year. Like it's scary times right now. I don't know, man. It's
I
and
like,
OKC. I'm gonna just leave it at that.
yeah,
Sorry.
man. Hey, man, look, I had agree with everything you just
Yeah.
said, and Shia just have quietly having another MVP type caliber season, averaging 32, 4, and 6 so far.
Yeah. Not
He's
having to play fourth quarters. Yeah.
it's amazing.
Yeah. No, I mean, so to take a little bit less conventional, I would say now this is still contingent on health, but I would say the Spurs. I think that the Spurs are around to stay. I think that as long as Wemby is healthy, which of course we've already seen kind of some injury concerns a little bit early in the season. But I think that, with them as well too, the start that they really got off to was also without De'Aaron Fox. And so I think that the Spurs are a team that, have been kind of on that rebuild and that mend for the last couple years, but I think that they are going to be a team that's firmly entrenched in that Western Conference playoff race. And so they would be a team that I would say that not among the obvious names that you mentioned to me is one that sticks out.
Yo, I'm gonna go a little bit of unconventional. I hadn't had these types of thoughts about this franchise since 2004. I think I was 9 years old, and I got to go with the Detroit Pistons. Right now, they're sitting at 15-2. JB Bickerstaff, give him all the credit. Me personally, I felt like he was done wrong in Cleveland, even though Cleveland, I think they made the conference finals this previous year. So I mean, maybe they made the right choice. But JB Bickerstaff got him rolling, and I love how Cade Cunningham is playing. Former first pick in the NBA draft. The hype was real. He's figuring it out, and I'm starting to really kind of see how special he is at 6'8", playing point guard and can do pass, rebound, anything that you need. So I'm really liking the Detroit Pistons. I believe that they're real, man. I think that they're one of the premier teams in the East here, and I'm looking for them to continue their run of what they're doing. But so I think we did it again, fellas. We wrapping up, man. Make sure that you're following us on O_benchwarmers on Instagram and Twitter. Make sure that you subscribe to the podcast. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. That's how you hit the bell, get notified when we drop this great content. And make sure that you subscribe on any one of your platforms that you listen to your podcast on. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Until next time, we out of here.
Later.